I'm here to bring you the latest out of Kansas City, where beneath the thunderous applause lies a saga of high-stakes gambles, fragile resurgences, and an uncertain path forward. In the wake of a crushing Super Bowl heartbreak, the Chiefs' front office launched into a feverish offseason overhaul. Monumental contracts were inked to safeguard their crown jewel under center. Veteran icons were lured back into the fold, while young defenders found themselves teetering on the edge of the roster bubble. But as the dust settles, murmurs of second-guessing and speculation are growing louder. Will these aggressive free agent investments yield returns? Can once reliable contributors reclaim their relevance? And is there still room for one more game-altering move before training camp kicks off? The answers to these questions will shape the next defining chapter in this dynasty's evolution. Let's dive into everything unfolding in Kansas City over the last few hours. First, a quick favor. If you appreciate our work, please hit that like button. Many of you watch our content daily and simply forget to click that thumbs up. It's a small gesture that means the world to us and helps our channel grow. Thank you, sincerely. Kansas City went all in this offseason to reinforce the offensive line, but their headline acquisition, Jaylen Moore, may already be unraveling. In the Chiefs' Super Bowl loss to Philadelphia, Patrick Mahomes was sacked 6 times, a brutal indictment of a line that buckled when it mattered most. That collapse didn't just end their dream of a historic three-peat, it sent the front office back to the drawing board. Last season, the offensive line conceded 41 sacks, placing them 16th in the NFL. Not catastrophic, but far from championship caliber when your franchise rides on the shoulders of football's ultimate talisman. Mahomes is the lifeblood of this dynasty. Keeping him upright isn't a priority, it's a mandate. So the Chiefs didn't tiptoe into free agency, they plunged in headfirst. Their marquee splash? A 2-year, $30 million 0 cents pact with Moore. On paper, it looked ambitious. In reality, fans are already experiencing buyer's remorse. Drafted in the 5th round in 2021 by San Francisco, Moore spent 4 seasons as a reserve, logging just 12 starts as a swing tackle. His 2024 cameo, 5 starts at left tackle, sparked just enough optimism to lure Kansas City into overpaying. Whether they unearthed an overlooked gem or hastily patched a chronic issue, shelling out $30 million, 0 cents, for a glorified backup raised eyebrows across the league. Then came the 2025 NFL Draft, where Kansas City doubled down by selecting Ohio State's Josh Simmons in the first round, their presumed long-term answer at left tackle. With Simmons recovering from a knee injury, Moore will man Mahomes' blindside to open the season. But once the rookies cleared for action, Moore's starting gig and relevance could vanish overnight. If he falters, Moore could become the league's most expensive clipboard holder. His $11,200,000 0 cents cap hit this season swells to $18,700,000 0 cents in 2026. That's a steep tab for someone with just 5 quality starts on his resume. The contract offers an off-ramp. Cut him after 1 year, absorb $10,700,000, 0 cents in dead cap, and recoup $8 million, 0 cents. Not ideal, but far better than total disaster. The Chiefs rolled the dice that Moore's brief success hinted at hidden upside, not a fluke. But if Simmons proves the real deal, Kansas City may pull the plug on Moore's deal much sooner than expected. In today's NFL, protecting your quarterback is the gold standard, and this gamble could unravel under the weight of expectation. While the offensive line situation stirs anxiety, the front office hedged their bets by bringing back a familiar playmaker, Marquise Hollywood Brown. Despite last season's painful finale, the Chiefs roster remains largely intact. Their offseason strategy prioritized continuity over overhaul, and one reunion in particular raised eyebrows. Brown entered 2024 as one of the league's premier vertical threats, but a preseason shoulder injury sidelined him until December, prompting many to assume the team would move on. Instead, Kansas City reunited with the speedster on a 1-year, $7 million 0 cents deal, and that decision is already bearing fruit. Mahomes is rekindling the chemistry that once made this duo electric. When you've already built a rapport with someone, you don't need a ramp-up, Mahomes shared at minicamp. Hollywood, Worthy, Rashee, Juju, they're putting in the work. We revisit old plays, and that familiarity sharpens everything. The same rhythm Travis and I thrive on. The message is clear: chemistry creates efficiency. Last season's air attack sputtered. Mahomes posted his lowest passing yards, 3,928, YPA 6.8, and TDs 26 since becoming a starter in 2018. Injuries to Brown and Rice disrupted timing, reps, and momentum. Now with Brown healthy, that aerial engine is poised to roar back to life. 2024, Brown was limited to just 9 receptions for 91 yards in the regular season and 5 more for 50 scoreless yards in the playoffs. Still, his career average of 11.6 yards per reception is a testament to the explosive threat he remains. He may not be Tyreek Hill, but Hollywood Brown still stretches defenses in ways that command attention. His vertical prowess opens the field for every weapon in Kansas City's arsenal and sets the stage for another relentless pursuit of the Lombardi Trophy. As a new season approaches, Brown's resurgence symbolizes the Chiefs' strategic balance, wagering on youth in the trenches while doubling down on proven firepower in the passing attack. If his comeback continues to energize the offense, Kansas City's road to redemption becomes more plausible by the day. But on the defensive side of the ball, sweeping changes have ignited fierce positional battles following a Super Bowl debacle. The front office knew that a mere tweak wouldn't suffice. 2025 demanded a full-scale recalibration. Consequently, both the offensive line and cornerback cores were radically revamped. While both units were exposed on the sport's grandest stage, the cornerback group was a lingering concern throughout 2024. To address the deficiency, Kansas City signed seasoned veteran Christian Fulton and invested in rookie Null Williams via the draft. Those additions, however, displaced several 2024 contributors, forcing them into a high-stakes battle for survival. Among the most affected is former 7th-round pick Naz Johnson. Following a muted showing during OTAs and minicamp, Johnson now teeters on the edge of the roster bubble as training camp nears. His tenure in red and gold is hanging by a thread. A vocal segment of Chiefs Kingdom would happily see Johnson shown the door, and the numbers support their stance. In 2024, Pro Football Focus graded him a paltry 51.2 in coverage. Opposing quarterbacks completed 60% of passes thrown in his direction, exposing weaknesses in both man and zone schemes. Confidence among fans has all but evaporated. Johnson enters camp locked in a 3-way duel with Joshua Williams and Christian Roland-Wallace for the CB6 slot. While Williams underwhelmed as well, his metrics were marginally better. Roland-Wallace flashed some promise in limited snaps, but none of the trio distinguished themselves during spring workouts, leaving them deadlocked in mediocrity. Training camp and preseason will serve as the crucible. Whichever cornerback shines brightest may extend their career. Fail to impress, and Johnson's time in Kansas City could be over. Beyond internal battles and veteran reunions, trade chatter continues to buzz throughout the fan base and league circles. With the offense still in the process of reclaiming its once feared dominance, why not swing big just one more time before camp begins? On the June 24th episode of Bleacher Report's NFL Daily Live, analyst Mitch Milani floated a compelling idea: Kyle Pitts to Kansas City. Milani suggested that Kansas City offer Atlanta a 4th and 6th round pick in exchange for the former top 5 selection, who's yet to live up to expectations. Y'all better strap in, because what I'm about to reveal is going to send shockwaves through the entire NFL universe. This ain't your run-of-the-mill locker room chatter. This is championship-tier drama that's got me fired up and locked in. Stay with me until the very end, because I'm dropping some cold, hard truth that every single Chiefs fan needs to hear. Drop a W in the comments if you still believe in the kingdom. Drop an L if you think the dynasty is slipping. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button while you're at it. Now listen closely, because what we've got brewing in the NFL right now has more plot twists than a primetime thriller. And I'm here to break it all down for you, step by jaw-dropping step. See, I've been around this league long enough to know when somebody's blowing smoke. And right now, Miami is lighting up the sky with delusional fireworks. There's a certain wide receiver down in South Beach who's been flapping his gums like he's already got next year's Lombardi Trophy sitting on his nightstand. Now, don't get me wrong, confidence is essential in this league. You need swagger to survive, but there's a fine line between confidence and full-blown delusion. And after hearing what this dude had to say, I started wondering if too much Florida sun is frying some brain cells. Let me remind y'all who we're talking about. The Kansas City Chiefs, not just any football team, the reigning titans of the NFL. A dynasty built on excellence. 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, back-to-back titles, a blueprint for sustained dominance. This empire wasn't built on hype, it was forged through brilliant drafting, tactical free agency moves, and a championship culture that breeds winners. Since 2020, no team, let me repeat, no team has reached the mountaintop more consistently than Kansas City. While others flap their jaws about greatness, the Chiefs were out there proving it week after week. Players have come and gone, cap space has tightened, critics have chirped. Yet through it all, Kansas City kept stacking wins and raising banners. That's the dividing line in this league, the difference between pretenders and certified contenders. But apparently, some folks got amnesia when it comes to recognizing greatness. Now let's talk about this former Chiefs receiver. Yeah, the one who used to catch passes from Patrick Mahomes and basked in the glow of championship culture. He knew what it felt like to be part of a machine that wins when the lights are brightest. And now, he's in Miami, chirping like the Dolphins are about to steamroll the AFC like it's 1972 all over again. Again, I respect belief, I respect grit, but belief without results, that's just noise. Let's not forget, the Miami Dolphins haven't won a single playoff game since the year 2000. Let that marinate. That's before smartphones, before social media, before half the league was even born. While Kansas City's been hoarding Lombardi trophies like collector's items, Miami's been stockpiling heartbreaks and early off-season tee times. But none of that seems to matter when a podcast mic is hot and a platform's waiting. This guy boldly declared that the Dolphins are taking the AFC. Not contending, not making a run, taking it. Like the AFC is a clearance rack. They can just scoop up at checkout. The nerve, the unfiltered audacity. You're telling me a franchise that hasn't sniffed playoff success in 2 decades is just going to waltz through a conference that includes juggernauts like Kansas City, Baltimore, and Cincinnati? Please. That's not confidence. That's a fantasy. But wait. It gets even wilder. This same wideout had the gall to say his quarterback is the best in the league. Let me say that again. The best in the entire NFL. Now, I've heard hot takes, but this one had me checking if I was watching a comedy sketch. We talking about the same QB who's never won a playoff game? The one with more concussion scares than playoff completions? The one quarterbacking a team that's made a habit of letting fans down when it counts? Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes, the generational talent, sits comfortably in Kansas City with 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and a regular season MVP. He's redefining the quarterback position while others are still trying to get through Wild Card Weekend. But sure, South Beach Fantasyland says otherwise. What we're witnessing isn't just trash talk, it's a textbook case of emotional overcompensation. The receiver left greatness in Kansas City, and now he's trying to convince the world and himself that he somehow upgraded. It's like walking away from the Patriots during their dynasty and claiming the Jets are the next Super Bowl favorites. Let's be honest. This exposes a deeper flaw in the mindset of certain players today. There's a vast difference between bold belief and blinding delusion. Between speaking like a champ and proving you're one. The Chiefs didn't become a dynasty on accident. They didn't trip into greatness. This was a masterclass in long-term vision, built by a front office that knows how to construct a roster, coached by a legend who's been orchestrating elite football for decades. Andy Reid? He's not guessing, he's executing with precision drawn from decades of gridiron genius. And Patrick Mahomes? He's not just a quarterback, he's a phenomenon. A once-in-a-generation talent with nerves of steel and vision that cuts through defenses like a surgeon's blade. When the stakes are sky high, Mahomes rises. He's ice-cold under pressure, and he thrives where others crumble. Let's not forget Travis Kelce either, the most consistent and lethal tight end in the game. The pitch started with an undeniable truth. Travis Kelce's age and the reality of a likely retirement by 2026. Milani proposed that Pitts could become the heir to Kelce's throne. Pitts has the potential to be the next elite tight end, and acquiring him would be a masterstroke by Brett Veach, Milani said, referencing the height that once compared Pitts to Rob Gronkowski and Kelce himself. But even Milani acknowledged Pitts' recent struggles. After a standout rookie campaign that topped 1,000 receiving yards, Pitts fell off drastically. In 2024, he ranked 44th among tight ends, finished near the bottom in yards after catch per reception, and posted one of the lowest passer ratings when targeted. He was underutilized, miscast, forgotten in Atlanta's disjointed offense. But enter Andy Reid, the mastermind behind Kansas City's tight end dynasty. The Chiefs have long cultivated pass-checking talents who thrive without being asked to block like traditional TEs. From Jody Fortson to Demetrius Harris, they've followed a familiar mold. Pitts would slot perfectly into that prototype. Milani argued that Reid could unlock Pitts' potential, designing route concepts that isolate him in one-on-one matchups and tailor run half-or-catch opportunities to his strengths. His skill set isn't far off from Kelce's, Milani explained. Imagine Pitts learning directly under Travis for a season or two. Kansas City could transform him into the next superstar. Under this scenario, Noah Gray would retain his role as the balanced dual-threat tight end, while Pitts steps in as the pure pass-checking weapon, ready to take over once Wyatt moves on. Financially, the proposal works. Pitts' 2025 cap hit is a manageable $10,870,000, and as he's entering the final year of his rookie deal, the Chiefs could easily negotiate an extension, lowering the short-term hit while securing a long-term asset. He's got good speed, and he's a good route runner for a running back. These OTAs are tough, but he's done a good job with everything we've asked. It meant something. These aren't generic coach speak compliments, they're signals. Signals that Smith may be carving out a serious role behind Isaiah Pacheco, who enters 2025 on a one-year prove-it deal. Smith offers versatility galore, jet sweeps, inside bursts, slot mismatches, and even special teams electricity. Picture Mahomes on 3rd and short, glancing toward Smith in the flat or splitting him out wide to exploit mismatches. If this offseason surge carries into live action, Kansas City may have struck late-round gold. And in Andy Reid's laboratory of offensive innovation, Smith could very well become the next secret weapon, proof that game changers aren't always found in round one. Meanwhile, in the trenches, where games are truly won, Kansas City's offensive line is at a pivotal juncture. Last season, the Chiefs masked O-line inconsistencies with creative play calling, but those cracks shattered under the Super Bowl spotlight. Protection failed, the offense stalled. The loss was decisive and revealing. Determined to rebuild the wall, the Chiefs made bold offseason moves. They signed veteran tackle Jaylen Moore to a 2-year, $30 million, 0 cents deal and invested their first-round pick in Josh Simmons, a once top-tier prospect whose stock slid after a patellar tendon tear. Now, the battle for the blind side has ignited, a three-man war set to rage through training camp. According to NFL insider Michael Silver, there could be 3 legit position battles on Kansas City's offensive line this summer. Only center Creed Humphrey and Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith are locked into starting roles. Left guard Mike Caliendo and others, their spots are anything but secure. Right tackle Juwan Taylor may find himself relegated to backup duty when the Chiefs open their 2025 campaign. Aside from Creed Humphrey, the rock of Andy Reid's zone blocking scheme, and Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith, who notably skipped OTAs amid ongoing contract negotiations, there are no guaranteed starters on the offensive line. Left guard Mike Caliendo and Taylor, despite their experience, are now hearing unsettling murmurs about their future, as second-year tackle Kingsley Suamataia steadily climbs the depth chart with each rep. But the real spotlight is fixed on Jaylen Moore and Josh Simmons, now locked in a high-stakes duel that could reverberate well beyond the September 5 season opener in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Lurking beneath the surface is a complex financial chess match. Juwan Taylor carries a massive $27 million 0 cents cap hit in 2025, making him a prime candidate for trade or release by 2026. Meanwhile, Moore's escalating contract over $18 million 0 cents next season virtually cements his roster spot, barring catastrophic underperformance. Should Simmons seize the left tackle position, Moore would pivot to the right, effectively pushing Taylor into a backup role. He turns just 25 in October and still brims with untapped potential. Given Brett Veach's history of betting on talented underachievers, players who need only the right system and the right mentor, this move isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. If Andy Reid believes Pitts can thrive in his offensive ecosystem, don't rule it out. As training camp approaches, every gamble will be magnified. From the offensive line overhaul and returning veterans to roster bubble battles and headline-stealing trade ideas. These decisions will define Kansas City's quest for redemption. So now I turn it over to you. Which off-season move feels like the biggest gamble? Can Jaylen Moore prove worthy of that $30 million 0 cents investment? Will Josh Simmons eventually dethrone him? How much of a spark will Hollywood Brown's return provide to the Mahomes-led offense? And if the Chiefs land Kyle Pitts, where do you see him fitting into the offensive hierarchy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your takes. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to join our community. We bring you the most complete, most passionate coverage of everything happening in Kansas City every single day. See you in the next one.